This is so unreal, man. This is so unreal. Okay. I have no words. I literally have no words. Oh my god. Can my team even get a break? Like, this is just sad, man. This is just sad. This is what I just found, according from ESPN. His name is Shams Karania. I apologize if I mispronounced your last name, but it says here Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard has sustained a deep vein of thrombosis, which is a blood clot, in his right calf. Lillard is on blood thinning medication, which has stabilized the blood clot, and will continue with regular testing. He is out indefinitely, period. This is just crazy, bro. This is just insane. And this is potentially career threatening too. I mean, these blood clots is just no joke. Okay, this is serious right here. And the fact that this is in the right calf, and this is another NBA player too who has suffered this blood clots. Remember, I want to say a couple months ago, it was Victor Wemby, who suffered this blood clots. But the difference is that he had it is like I think it was his right shoulder, I believe. His right shoulder they had a blood clot. Prayers goes out to Victor Wemby. But now it's Damian Lillard. It's on my team, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, this is just crazy. This is crazy. As a Milwaukee Bucks fan myself, I want to send my prayers obviously to him, but also to his family and his loved ones as well, witnessing the news that Damian Lillard is going through right now. This is just crazy. So, I assume that he's definitely not going to be coming back here this season, here for the playoffs. So, and as much as I would love for him to come back, it's just too risky. It's very, very risky. I mean, this is a blood clot we're talking about. This is serious. It's a serious thing to happen, and I don't want the worst to happen to Damian Lillard like this. Just ruined my whole evening, my whole night looking through this, man. As a Bucks fan myself, I'm just so ashamed, bro. Just so ashamed. Like, it's like there's like a lot of things that always goes wrong here with Milwaukee Bucks, man. And this is the most serious thing. All right, so that's just the news right there. Now I did see this video right here. This is a doctor here. Down here, his name is Brian Sutterer, MD, but I'm guessing his last name is just Sutterer in general. Now I actually seen him before. This is a guy who has such a great analysis as to how these injuries happen to a number of these players right here. Now off camera, I think the last video I've seen from him was that Achilles tear that happened to Aaron Rodgers. I believe that's the last time I've watched him bragging to an injury like that. But that was like a couple years ago. So this man definitely knows his stuff, and Damian Lillard is definitely one of those players. So I think we're gonna watch through this whole video, and we're gonna listen to see what he has to say about how Damian Lillard suffered this blood clot right here. So let's see how this is gonna go.
Buck star Damian Lillard is unfortunately out indefinitely after being diagnosed with a DVT, or a blood clot in his leg. In this video, we'll talk about what exactly that means and why it likely means his season is over. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and the goal in this channel is to teach more about the medical side of the sports world. So we just got the unfortunate news this evening that Damian Lillard has been diagnosed with a blood clot in his right calf. Now, specifically, right leg. It's not like it's a clot in the muscle itself, but DVT, a deep vein thrombosis. He'll be started on blood thinners, and he's out indefinitely. Long story short here, typical duration of treatment for a DVT or a blood clot anywhere in the body is a minimum of 3 months of blood thinning medication. Typically medication you can take by mouth, sometimes there's injections, but oftentimes medication you take by mouth on a daily basis to help thin the blood and help resolve that clot. Because basketball is a contact sport and it's risky to get a bleed that can be traumatic and serious if you're on blood thinners, more than likely, as we've seen with previous stars, his season will be over because of that duration of being on blood thinners while playing a contact sport. Now let's go to our biodigital anatomy tool to understand just what a DVT is. So deep meaning it's the veins deep in the body as opposed to superficial out near the surface. Vein, because it's in a vein, the veins are the blood vessels where blood is going from the body back up to the heart. And then thrombosis is the fancy medical term for a clot. So it's a blood clot that occurs in the deep, meaning deeper inside the tissue veins of the extremities. The most common place for these to occur is going to be the leg. This model is showing here where all those deep veins are running inside the limb. There's multiple of them. DVTs can occur in any of them. But due to reasons that we'll discuss here in a little bit, blood clots form. Because that blood clot is forming, it's almost like the pipe is clogged. And when the pipe is clogged, blood cannot return from the peripheral back up to the heart, and so you develop pain and swelling in the extremity, and that's the main sign to clue you in that you've got a concern for a DVT. One side asymmetrically swollen, painful, sometimes red, because of that blood not being able to get from the outer part of the extremity back up to the heart because of that blockage. Basically, what happens is the blood is trying to travel back up, and due to various factors, the blood becomes stagnant. You develop this blood clot. Blood can't flow back up. The concern, it's not that the blood clot being there in and of itself causes damage necessarily, but the concern with these is that, yeah, you can cause pain, the swelling, etc., but more seriously, the clot can embolize, meaning it breaks off or travels further up into the rest of the venous system, and ultimately can travel up to the heart, get pumped out into the lungs, and cause a pulmonary embolism, which can be fatal. So the big concern is not so much the blood clot itself, but that if the blood clot progresses, yes, you can have more issues in the extremity, but more critically, that blood clot can break off, it can travel up the vein, back into the heart, get pumped out into the lungs, cause a blockage in the lungs, and that can be fatal. And so that's why these things are so urgent and so critical to treat.
Yo, I really hope it doesn't happen to Damian Lillard, man. I mean, you guys heard it there. The fact that the blood could travel from your calf all the way up to your lungs, forcing you to stop breathing, bro, that's scary, bro. That is so scary, bro. Prayers for Damian Lillard for this, man. Prayers.
Like I said, you're going to treat it with blood thinners. There's a lot of variability in terms of what blood thinning medication, the duration, but on average 3 to 6 months is kind of the typical course for an uncomplicated deep vein thrombosis. The difference between somebody like Victor Wembanyama is his was likely related to repetitive trauma in the blood vessel underneath his neck and the upper extremity from that repetitive movement. When we characterize a DVT, it's important to understand if it's a provoked or an unprovoked. There are certain things that can put you at risk of having a blood clot. That would be a provoked deep vein thrombosis, something like surgery, trauma, prolonged immobilization. We've all heard about being on a really long plane flight, not getting up. When you're immobilized, the blood is not being pumped back up to your heart with the muscles firing, so the blood becomes stagnant, and that's...
You can get blood clots after a long plane flight?
Stagnant, that stasis feature with the blood can cause clotting to occur. So a provoked DVT is when the doctors can identify a clear reason for why the blood clot occurred. And generally this is better because it means there was a clearly identifiable thing, you correct the identifiable thing, and there shouldn't be any future risk of blood clots. The concern is if it is an unprovoked DVT, meaning they have no idea why it happened. There are certain genetic conditions, different disease processes that can make your blood more prone to clots. And if you have an unprovoked blood clot anywhere in your body, there's going to be more workup that's necessary to try to figure out something like factor V Leiden deficiency, these genetic conditions that can put you at higher risk of blood clots and subsequently might need longer treatment. I don't know what happened with Chris Bosh. We don't know the full story there, but there seemed to be some suggestion that maybe something was going in the background that required longer blood thinners potentially. And so that's really the biggest hope with Damian Lillard here is that, number one, they got on top of it early enough that there's not going to be any clot. that embolizes off to the heart, lungs, and causes a PE. And number 2, you hope that it's provoked so that they can clearly identify the cause and not be concerned about it happening again. Because if you find something that's like a cause of an unprovoked or one of these underlying conditions, sometimes you have to be on longer-term blood thinning medication, and if you're on longer-term blood thinning medication, that further precludes returning to sport. So that's the part of this to be determined. Again, I'm not aware of any cases of athletes who have returned to basketball, football, contact sports while being on blood thinning medication, because again, if you hit your head, some sort of trauma, that makes you bleed more likely, and that increased bleeding can be serious and potentially fatal.
Right.
So that's why if we extend this 3 months out, I would not be surprised at all if Lillard's season is done. But blood clots, yes, it's not maybe as long of a recovery as like an ACL tear, but an ACL tear is not going to kill you. A blood clot very well could be fatal if it turns into an embolus or becomes more complicated. So I'm glad that they found it. Good prompt action here, it seems, by the Milwaukee medical staff to get this under control. To be determined now if we find an exact cause, and then what will be next for Lillard. That's it for the video. Thank you as always for watching. Let me know any questions or comments down below. And until next time,
Yo, this is insane. You heard him right there. This man is intelligent. Shout out to him. He knows his stuff about these injuries, man. But yeah, prayers to Damian Lillard. Prayers out to his family. I really hope Damian Lillard gets all the treatment that he gets to get rid of this blood clots, man, because the fact that this blood clot can really kill someone is very, very scary. It's so scary. If I'm Damian Lillard, I'm not gonna try to come back at all. Okay, I don't care. I don't care about the Bucks making it into the playoffs there no more. I am not risking it at all. The fact that this is like a life-threatening type of injury to Damian Lillard, hopefully Damian Lillard gets better. But also prayers to another player too. This is a female player that I also heard from the news. I heard about this from the Bleacher Report news. Her name is Juju Watson. She is a basketball player who plays for USC. I think it was like a March Madness game that was going on that they were playing in. I don't remember what team they were playing, but that doesn't matter. It was a gruesome injury. I think it was a non-contact injury that Juju Watson has suffered. And I did see a clip of it. Crunching his legs, screaming. I mean, that ACL tear, that's just super unfortunate, man. So unfortunate. So I also want to give my prayers to her and also to her family and her loved ones. Man, this is just unfortunate. A couple of these athletes suffering gruesome injuries. Obviously, Juju Watson with the ACL tear is definitely bad, but Damian Lillard's injury is more gruesome than Juju Watson. He said it right there. An ACL tear is not going to kill you, but a blood clot would, or could, I should say. So, prayers for the speedy recoveries for both of them. Definitely both of them. But until next time, this is Cam chilling. I'm signing off. Peace.